everyone, this is Speak Entertainment and we are back again, and here now we have another video for you. And in a continued lead up to the release of Captain America Brave New World, I will be taking a look back at the previous Captain America MCU movies, and this time we will reflect on the third installment, which is Captain America Civil War. Now there'll likely be spoilers not only for the film but also for all other movies and TV shows within the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so just beware when going to this overall video. And you can check out my reviews of the previous two entries within the channel, both the First Avenger and the Winter Soldier, and I'll also leave some links within the description. So then, when we look at this installment, Captain America Civil War, which was released back in May the 6th, 2016, and once more had Chris Evans returning in the lead role as Steve Rogers, amongst a whole host of MCU castings of other characters from the likes of Robert Downey Jr., Scarlett Johansson, Don Cheadle, Anthony Mackie, Jeremy Renner, Sebastian Stan, Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany. We also had new additions, notably Chadwick Boseman's first appearance as Black Panther, as per Tom Holland's introduction into the MCU as Spider-Man, and the movie was once more directed by Anthony and Joe Russo. Now, Civil War was the first entry of Phase 3 within the MCU, and also an adaptation of the major comic book arc from the early 2000s, which saw the story of the majority of the Avengers in conflict with one another. The film story itself was set post the events of the Battle of Sokovia from Avengers Age of Ultron, which saw all of the heroes going up against the powerful AI cyborg known as Ultron. Following that battle, the United Nations are initiating the Sokovia Accords, which wants to enforce the registration of superheroes under the supervision of the world's governments. This program causes divisions amongst the Avengers, as the likes of Tony Stark believes that heroes need to be reined in after the battle against Ultron. Now, Steve Rogers disagrees with this, believing that the heroes shouldn't be under anybody's control, especially where certain actions of the governments have been shown to be less than trustworthy. Now, things escalate even further when Wakandian King T'Chaka and his son Prince T'Challa are attacked via explosions within the UN conference. And when his father is killed, T'Challa vows brutal revenge against the assailant, who's been named as Bucky Barnes, the former Winter Soldier. And so the conflict begins as Tony Stark's team lead the pursuit of Barnes, and with Steve and his allies looking to protect his former best friend, the battles between the heroes intensifies and stakes become even more personal and deeper as darker secrets are revealed. Now, following the first strong film and the superior second installment, Civil War confirmed at the time the Captain America movies as the best trilogy within the MCU. This is simply an epic piece of comic book imagination and superhero adventure. In the beginning, as with Winter Soldier, you get the serious political and conspiracy themes. Once more, there remains a fierce intelligence and seriousness throughout the story. But it never gets too dark or joyless. There's still plenty of vibrant energy, brevity and appeal, which of course is helped by the extensive cast, who are all by this point so familiar and comfortable in all of their roles that it really feels like you're reuniting with old friends, and once more you're happy to watch them bantering off one another, and it's still a joy to see at this stage. Now, we do mention both Black Panther and Spider-Man, who amongst all other characters are surprisingly more integral to the story rather than just being fan service cameos. Now, both of these characters were going to have massively successful solo films post this movie, but it's a credit that both feel very substantial to the overall piece. And the Russo brothers do an absolute great job here in handling all of the multiple subplots and juggling pieces and relationships of all of the characters amidst all of the massive spectacle, and most characters get their time to shine. Perhaps really only the likes of Hawkeye, maybe Sharon Carter and Scarlet Witch feel a bit more marginalised, but again, it's still great to see them all on screen together. Now, the film itself is defined by two massive set pieces. The first and obvious is the centerpiece airport battle within Leipzig, Germany, where the Civil War conflict of the Avengers reaches its absolute climax. And to simply put, it's one of the most incredible sequences ever put to screen within a comic book movie. For around 10 to 15 minutes, it's simply comic book imagination and excitement gone wild. We see the escalation of most of the Avengers in battle, jumping, leaping, pirouetting, transmitting all sorts of laser beams, projectiles and energy waves. We see the full array of powers and abilities mixed in with some sharp one-liners and jokes, with once more every character getting their true stand-up moments, especially Spider-Man and Ant-Man. It's an absolute epic visualization, really encapsulating the dreams of a whole generation of fans who grew up reading these comic books or watching the classic Saturday morning animated series, reaching the same levels of euphoria and elation seen in the Avengers battle against Chitauri and also the 2012 film, and it's still absolutely incredible. Now, what truly elevated this film was a decision to narrow things down in scale post the airport sequence. Whereas some other films would have tried to outdo the airport battle in the climax, we get a much more personal face-off between Steve Rogers and Tony Stark following a truly shocking revelation, and it's absolutely the right choice, proving to be every bit as compelling, and it further represents the true storytelling evolution within the MCU. So with all of the movie's merits, there does lie the one obvious criticism that with all of the Avengers characters involved, this feels much less like a Captain America movie and much more like an Avengers one. The previous two Captain America films were clear defined standalone stories centered very much on the main character. But absolutely some homework is required before going into Civil War. At the very least, you will need to watch Winter Soldier and also Age of Ultron to get what's going on. To many fans, this story has been revered as Avengers 2.5, and that is an absolute valid statement. And Captain America kind of gets lost in the shuffle as a result. Now, all of that proved to be immaterial, as Captain America Civil War was a massive release, crossing over $1.1 billion worldwide on a budget of around $250 million, very much playing like an Avengers movie, and indeed it went on to become the highest grossing film of the year. In a much hyped contest, it easily toppled Batman vs Superman, DC's desperate attempt to fast track their way to Marvel's success without providing the same groundwork and development. And Civil War is an example of the truly monumental comic book movie that only works because of the time taken by Marvel to develop these characters throughout the two previous phases. That familiarity, continuity, makes you even more comfortable with all of the various dynamics that's going on. And Civil War was the start of the MCU reaching its truly imperial stage within Phase 3 that would go on to see the franchise completely dominate entertainment. And following on from that, we would go on to see the likes of Black Panther, Captain Marvel and Spider-Man all reaching over $1 billion worldwide, culminating in two of the biggest comic book movies of all time in both Avengers Infinity War and Endgame. Now, is Captain America Civil War better than Winter Soldier? I would probably only say no, because again it feels much more like an Avengers film rather than a Captain America story, but still without question, Captain America Civil War is yet again another peak entry within the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and also a prime example of how amazing and incredible a true comic book movie can be when you get all the pieces right in terms of both the characters and the storytelling. And yet again, this is the Marvel Cinematic Universe truly at its absolute peak. So those are my overall thoughts and feelings when looking back at Captain America Civil War. Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you have any other further movies, television series, or any other issues within the pop entertainment and culture scene that you'd like to see me cover within the channel, then also let me know in the comments, and I will see if I can provide further commentary for you on that subject matter within the future. Please also hit like the subscription and notification buttons so I can provide you with more high quality content like this in the future. But that's it for now. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you very, very soon.